When I transmigrated into the male lead of a tragic romance, I was being forced by the female lead to have my kidney dug out. She spoke in a lofty, superior tone. Losing one kidney won't affect your health. Give one of your kidneys to Makoto, and I won't divorce you. A human life is at stake. I hope you can be more magnanimous. At the same time, rows of blood-red bullet comments floated across my vision. Iconic angsty scene ahead. The female lead demands the male lead donate a kidney to her sick crush. The male lead is heartbroken, but because he deeply loves the female lead and doesn't want a divorce, he ultimately agrees. After losing a kidney, the male lead discovers that the female lead's crush was faking the illness and colluded with a doctor to deceive them. Furious, he tells the female lead the truth, but she doesn't believe him at all and even accuses him of being jealous and slandering her crush. The male lead loses a kidney and is emotionally tortured by the female lead, becoming gloomy all day, and his depression worsens. So angsty, just my kind of story, bring on the suffering. Later we'll watch the female lead regret it and start a painful redemption romance with George. Seeing me remain silent, the female lead, Willow, said displeased, "George, you're only losing a kidney, but Makoto will lose his life." What the hell? Emotional blackmail. I slapped her across the face and cursed, "For trash like you, a fake person, I wouldn't even know how to classify you. You want my kidney? Who do you think you are? Divorce? Fine, I can't wait." After cursing her out, I took out my phone and immediately called the police. "Hello, someone is trying to conduct an illegal transaction and harvest my kidney." Chapter 1. I transmigrated, and became the male lead in a cliché tragic romance, the kind who's destined to be physically and emotionally tortured. The female lead is a wealthy CEO. 3 years ago, her grandfather fell gravely ill. They consulted a fortune teller, who said they needed a man with a perfectly compatible birth chart to bring good luck and counter the misfortune. The original host's birth chart matched exactly. On top of that, he had always secretly been a simp for her, so he married her. But the female lead had always had another man in her heart. Even after marriage, she never treated the original host well, always cold, arrogant, and bossy. She even forbade him from working, forcing him to become a house husband. Until recently, Makoto returned to the country, saying he was ill and needed a kidney transplant, and just so happened, the original host was a match. So the female lead forced the male lead to donate his kidney. In the original plot, the original host compromised for love. After that came a series of torment, being framed, kidnapped, having his leg broken, going blind, both physical and emotional suffering piled one after another. Only then did he finally grow disillusioned with the female lead, leave behind a letter, and walk away in heartbreak. At that point, the female lead finally realized she had fallen in love with the original host, and that many of the misunderstandings between them had been caused by Makoto. She then took brutal revenge on him and began a tragic arc of suffering in order to win her husband back. When the original host had fallen into poverty and despair, the misunderstandings were finally cleared up, and he forgave her. In the end, the two lived happily ever after, and had 2 sons within 3 years. I was speechless. Where were the values? Where was the morality? And where the hell was the law? You want to torture me? Impossible. Absolutely not. After quickly sorting through the plot, I looked at the female lead. Willow seemed to be stunned by my slap. She stared at me in shock, her expression dazed, as if she hadn't fully processed what just happened. Even the way she looked at me felt unfamiliar. The bullet comments went blank for a moment, then exploded. "I'm not okay right now. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? The male lead actually refused to donate a kidney. What's going on? Wait, if he refuses, how are they supposed to torture him next? Has the male lead gone crazy?" He refused, cursed at the female lead, hit her, and even called the police. Damn, why does it feel like the plot is about to collapse? No. Oh my god, look at the female lead, her face has turned green. Male lead, hurry up and apologize. Say you'll donate the kidney. Come on, I want to see you suffer. I came here for a tragic romance. If no one gets tortured, what's the point? That kidney has to be donated. It's the starting point of his suffering. Otherwise, how will the rest of the plot even work? Exactly. Female lead, hurry up and torture him. Tell him you actually love Makoto. Maybe he'll give up his kidney out of heartbreak. Looking at those brainless bullet comments, I let out a cold scoff in my heart. If you're so eager to be tortured, why don't you try it yourselves? At that moment, Willow seemed to finally snap back to her senses. She roared in anger. "George, you dare hit me?" I replied coldly. "You're trying to dig out my kidney. Beating you to death would count as self-defense. If it were the old George, he wouldn't have had the heart to lay a single finger on her. But I'm not the original host. Why would I tolerate her? The fact that I haven't ripped out her heart, liver, and lungs already is me being merciful." The anger on Willow's face intensified. She said self-righteously, Makoto is my friend. He's sick now, what's wrong with you giving him a kidney? Good grief. I was genuinely stunned by her shameless logic. If it sounds so noble, why don't you give him yours? This wasn't just generosity at someone else's expense, this was forcibly taking someone else's life. The bullet comments weren't happy. What's going on? The female lead says one thing and the male lead snaps back every time. He used to not even bear to say a harsh word to her. Does he think the female lead doesn't want to donate? She just isn't a match. Male lead. Stop talking nonsense, just take out a kidney and bring happiness to everyone. Chapter 2. Seeing that I refused to back down at all, Willow frowned, her eyes filling with obvious impatience. Then, as if she had figured everything out, she let out a cold snort. George, I didn't expect you to be this petty. You don't want to donate your kidney to Makoto because you're jealous of the relationship between us. I've already let you be my husband for so long, letting you enjoy a life of wealth and privilege. You should be satisfied. She paused, lifting her chin slightly with a disdainful expression. Besides, you married into the Liu family. You took $5 million from me back then. Now I'm only asking for one kidney, it's fair. The bullet comments grew excited. Well said. $5 million for one kidney, fair deal. Today, the male lead is giving the kidney whether he wants to or not. Proud emoji. As expected of the female lead, he's got nothing to say now, right? I laughed, cold, mocking laughter. Don't forget, I married into the Liu family to save your grandfather. That $5 million was his life-saving payment. If you really want to talk about fairness, then unless your grandfather drops dead right now, that $5 million wasn't wasted. Back then, the Liu family gave the male lead's parents $5 million to have him marry in. That money never even touched my hands. What the hell does it have to do with me? Willow Liu's expression changed instantly, fury nearly bursting out of her eyes. George, you've gone too far. How dare you curse my grandfather? I shrugged. I'm just stating facts, but you know, truths are always unpleasant. The bullet comments erupted in anger. All of them cursing me. The male lead's mouth is vicious. How can he say something like that about an old man? The grandfather is the female lead's only family, and he's already in the ICU. How heartbroken must she feel hearing this? Is this even a tragic romance male lead anymore? Author, come out and take the blame. TCH, it's a tragic romance, isn't it? Why can't the female lead be the one suffering for once? Willow was completely enraged, her composure shattered. George, you're nothing more than a decorative object I bought. If I acknowledge you as my husband, then you are. If I don't, then you're nothing. As she spoke, she gracefully sat down on the sofa, her posture arrogant and condescending. Cancel the police report now, agree to donate your kidney, and kneel down to apologize to me. I'll forgive you. She deliberately paused, her tone turning cold. Otherwise, I don't mind letting you experience my methods. Looking at her arrogant, self-important attitude, I asked with interest, what methods? Bondage, whipping, costume play, a king's game. Willow's face flushed bright red instantly, her chest heaving with anger. George, you're shameless. She stood up and strode toward me, raising her hand to slap me. Of course, I wasn't about to indulge her. I grabbed her wrist, and then slapped her backhandedly. A clear handprint appeared on her face. She went mad with rage and tried to strike me again. I warned her, I have depression. Do you know what it means to hit someone with a certificate? Willow froze in place, her hand suspended in midair, her expression looking even worse than if she had eaten shit. Of course she knew I had issues, she just never cared. The bullet comments went insane. Ha ha ha. The female lead is stunned. Was this supposed to be about torturing the male lead? How dare a grown man hit a woman? I'm out. So what if he has depression? That's not an excuse to hit people. Isn't anyone going to stop him? The plot is completely broken. Forget about her chasing him later, she probably hates him to death now. Hate me? Perfect. I have zero interest in her falling in love with me. I find it disgusting. At that moment, the police arrived. After briefly understanding the situation, neither of us was willing to back down or accept mediation. In the end, we were both taken to the police station. Chapter 3. At the police station. After Willow and I sat down, she gritted her teeth and said to me, George, you laid hands on me. That's domestic violence. My lawyer is on the way. I'm going to make you regret what you did today. And I'll also. I didn't feel like listening, so I cut her off. Stop yapping. I want a divorce. A woman who tries to dig out someone else's kidney at the slightest disagreement, whoever marries you is just asking for bad luck. I didn't even need to think about it. She was definitely planning to threaten me with divorce. But I'm not the original host. I'm not afraid at all. In fact, I want to take the initiative. A woman as self-righteous as her, if I'm the one who brings up divorce first, she'll definitely be furious. And as long as she's unhappy, I'm happy. Sure enough, the moment Willow heard my words, her face turned ashen, utterly ugly. The bullet comments completely exploded. Did I hear that right? Who is this guy? Where is he? What did he just say? The male lead wants a divorce, and said whoever marries her is unlucky. What the hell is going on? Wasn't this supposed to be about torturing the male lead? I haven't seen any of that. Also, is his kidney getting taken or not? Damn, the plot is so broken it's painful to watch. At that moment, the police began their routine questioning about why the call had been made. Just as I was about to speak, Willow cut in first. Officer, he committed domestic violence. My lawyer will be here shortly. I request that he be detained. As if on cue, her lawyer hurried in. After a brief, hushed exchange between the two, they both demanded that the police punish me severely and refused reconciliation. The officer looked at me, his tone serious. Mr. Wong, MS. Lou is accusing you of domestic violence. What do you have to say? I widened my eyes, pretending to be shocked. Officer, I'm being wronged. I didn't commit domestic violence. I was the one who called the police first. Willow snapped angrily. Officer, the injury on my face was caused by him. There are surveillance cameras at home. I raised an eyebrow. I think your blush looks pretty good. Willow was speechless. The lawyer was speechless. The officer's expression twisted for a moment, as if he was trying not to laugh. The bullet comments went berserk, flooding the screen. That damn male lead. He won't admit it and is even teasing the female lead. Angry emoji. Ever since he refused to donate his kidney, it's like he became a completely different person. The female lead is about to be pissed to death. This is turning into her getting tortured. He dared to hit the female lead. He must pay the price. Top lawyer, go. The officer cleared his throat and asked me to explain again why I had called the police. I said, this woman, her name is Willow, she's my wife. Her lover is sick, though who knows if that's even true. She wants to take my kidney and give it to him. I got scared, so I called the police. Let me make this clear. I didn't hit her. That was self-defense. Officer, tell me, does that sound like something a human would do? The officer frowned deeply and turned his gaze toward Willow. She looked a bit guilty, unconsciously pursing her lips and lowering her head. At that point, what was there left not to understand? The officer looked at me with sympathy, then spoke to her sternly. MS. Lou, organ trafficking is illegal. Willow Lou frowned and, of course, denied it. I was only persuading him to do a good deed, a voluntary donation. There's no money involved. Bullshit. I slammed the table angrily. That's not what you said at home. There's surveillance footage as evidence. You wanted to spend $5 million to dig out my kidney. Willow was momentarily speechless, her face turning dark and terrifying. Her lawyer argued that no actual organ removal had taken place and kept focusing on the issue of me hitting her. I said, I have depression. I have medical records. Then I showed the officer photos of my medical documents that I had taken with my phone before coming. I made it clear that my emotional state was extremely unstable and that I couldn't be provoked. The officer looked troubled. The lawyer spoke righteously, saying that depression usually manifests as low mood and self-denial, not aggressive behavior. I shrugged. That's because of her stimulation. My depression upgraded to bipolar. If you don't believe me, you can call in a psychiatrist. What a joke. Pretending to be mentally ill is a piece of cake for me. The lawyer fell silent. In the end, under the officer's mediation, the matter was resolved smoothly. Neither side pursued the issue any further. The bullet comments went insane. The screen filled with insults directed at me. I didn't care. As long as I got to hit someone and didn't come out at a loss, that's all that mattered. Chapter 4. As we walked out of the police station, Willow called out to me, George, you've really disappointed me. Don't come home for the next few days. Reflect on your behavior. She stood on the steps, looking down at me from above. Her expression was cold, but there was a trace of smugness in her eyes, like she was certain I had nowhere else to go and would come crawling back to apologize. Tisk, she's not even asking for a divorce. Looks like my initiative earlier really got under her skin. Now she wants to suppress me, make me regret it, and regain control. I know her type all too well. She can't stand anyone challenging her authority. As long as I don't play by her rules, she can't do anything to me. I checked my pockets. Aside from a phone, the original host didn't even have a single coin on him. You could say that without the female lead, even basic survival becomes a problem. This author is basically the male lead's evil stepmother. The bullet comments started flooding in again. When you were hitting her, you were so arrogant. Now that you've got no money, let's see how you survive. All hail the female lead. She's got him completely under control. Serves him right for acting tough. Without her, he'll be on the streets in no time. He's stunned now. Hurry up and kneel and apologize so the plot can get back on track. As if to make things even worse for me, a light drizzle began to fall. At the same time, Willow's driver pulled up in a Rolls-Royce. She didn't get in right away. Instead, she looked at me arrogantly. George, do you know what you did wrong? Even if the King of Heaven himself came today, I still wouldn't be wrong. Too lazy to deal with her. I took out my phone and called for backup. At a time like this, it's the perfect moment for the devoted second female lead to shine. Seeing what I was doing, Willow sneered. She even crossed her arms, clearly waiting to watch me make a fool of myself. Not long after, a Porsche screeched to a halt beside me. The second female lead, Anna, stepped out with long, confident strides. She was tall, elegantly dressed, with flawless makeup, a true cool beauty type. The bullet comments exploded instantly. Holy crap, isn't that the mafia heiress, the second female lead? He actually called her. She's always liked him, but he used to ignore her completely. Ha ha ha. Well played, male lead. Look at the female lead, she looks like she's about to kill someone. She's jealous. This is a full-on showdown, can't wait. He's gone too far. The female lead is furious. This is going to end in a chasing wife to the crematorium arc for sure. Is this still a tragic romance? Did the lead switch scripts or something? Anna walked over in high heels, opened an umbrella over my head, and asked with concern, George, are you okay? Did you catch a chill? It was as if she didn't even see Willow. Her eyes were practically glued to me, as expected of the devoted second female lead. George, I'll give you 3 seconds. Come here. Willow's voice came from behind me, filled with anger and certainty. 3, 2. Anna's expression dimmed instantly. After all, in the original host's heart, the female lead came before everything. He had rejected her multiple times for the sake of the female lead. But things are different now. If I have to choose a wife, I'd rather choose the second female lead. I took the umbrella from Anna and smiled at her. Let's go. Thanks for coming to pick me up. In that instant, a bright light flashed in her eyes. No need to thank me. The bullet comments completely lost their minds. Anger, anger, anger. What are you doing? Male lead. The female lead is your wife. This is cheating. Is this a tragic romance? Who's getting tortured here? It's the female lead, and us. Chapter 5. The moment the Porsche door opened, Willow stormed over in a fury. Rain fell onto her forehead and streamed down her cheeks, making her look far less composed than usual. She stared at me intently, gritting her teeth. George, if you dare to leave today, I'll cut off your parents' medical expenses. Like I said, the author is basically the male lead's evil stepmother. The original host's parents were in poor health and required massive medical expenses every month. The $5 million the Liu family gave back then had almost entirely been spent on hospital bills. You could only say the author threw all logic out the window just to torture the male lead. In the original plot, the original host wasn't even loved by his parents. When they were younger, they lived carefree lives and never took care of him, not even giving him living expenses. He was raised by his grandparents. After he graduated and started working, his parents grew old and sick. Only then did they remember they had a son and came looking for him. The original host had always longed for familial love, so he willingly became their personal blood bank. Disgusting. I said to Willow, let them die. Then, parents like that don't deserve to be called human. Don't come anywhere near me. I only care about myself. Anyone or anything that makes me unhappy can get lost. The bullet comments buzzed noisily. Has the male lead lost his mind? Aside from the female lead, weren't his parents the ones he cared about most? Replying upstairs, does he even seem to care about the female lead anymore? Forget it. The plot is completely shattered. I'm out. Ugh. I came here to watch the male lead suffer. If that's not happening, I'm leaving too. Willow stood there, dumbfounded, shock surging in her eyes. Clearly, she couldn't believe I would abandon even my parents. I suddenly reached out, grabbed her shoulders, spun her around 180 degrees, and shoved her into the rain. You get lost too. Don't let me see you again. If I do, I'll hit you every time. Then I got into Anna's car and drove off. On the way, she kept sneaking glances at me curiously. After a while, she carefully spoke. George, you seem different. I smiled. Of course I'm different. I didn't like the person I used to be. After all, the core has changed. The original host was willing to be abused. I'm not. Anna seemed happy, her eyes curving into a smile. No matter how you change, I think it's all good. Now that's something I like to hear. The bullet comments started flooding in again. Second female lead. Get lost. The male lead isn't even divorced yet. This makes you the other woman. The male lead has no shame either. He betrayed the female lead. Some people raised doubts, but the female lead has always loved Makoto, even forcing him to donate a kidney for him. Isn't that worse? The male lead only went to the second female lead because he had nowhere else to go, and they haven't crossed any lines. But that comment was quickly drowned out by insults. Get lost. We came to watch the male lead suffer. If he's doing well, what's the point? Exactly. Do you even understand what a tragic romance is? It's supposed to torture the male lead to death. If you like seeing the female lead suffer, get out. We want the male lead to suffer. Anna arranged for me to stay in a villa under her name. She even thoughtfully said, No one has ever lived in this house, not even me. Take a look and see if you like it. If not, I can show you other places. I had no complaints. It's fine. Even if you had lived here, it wouldn't matter. Anna's cheeks flushed slightly. Then get some rest. Early the next morning, I received a call from the original host's mother, telling me to go to the hospital. Chapter 6. When I arrived at the hospital, the moment I stepped into the ward, the original host's mother started scolding me nonstop. I think you've been living a cushy life for too long, you've gotten full of yourself. Hurry up and apologize to President Liu. Say you lost your mind yesterday. If she wants your kidney, just give her one. What's the big deal? Without her, can you even afford these sky-high medical bills? His father, despite looking sickly, had plenty of energy when it came to yelling. You little brat. I think your wings have grown, you've forgotten your place. You can still live with one kidney. Just go back to being a live-in son-in-law of a wealthy family, you'll still be living the high life. The bullet comments started cheering again. Finally, someone who can deal with the male lead. Let's see how arrogant he is now. For his parents' sake, I bet he'll compromise. Hee. The plot is about to get corrected, can't wait to see him get tortured again. I rolled my eyes and slapped both of them on their hospital beds. What kind of trash species are you two? Did you hide when humans were evolving? You keep saying it's just one kidney. Since you're so generous, why don't each of you take one out and let Willow choose? You two are just wasting oxygen by staying alive. Honestly, you might as well stop treatment and die. Between the hitting and the insults, I thoroughly enraged the two old fools. The father clutched his chest, unable to speak. The mother's face turned ashen. She pointed at me with a trembling finger. We're your parents. Can you really bear to watch us die? I nodded. I can. You. She was so choked up she could barely breathe. We raised you for nothing. I sneered. Raised me? When did that happen? The father finally caught his breath, panting heavily. You ungrateful bastard. We shouldn't have given birth to you. I remained calm and composed. Then go back to the furnace and be remade. Old man. The original host's parents were almost driven to death by anger, struggling to breathe as they hit the call button for help. The bullet comments went insane. His mouth is absolutely venomous. He's completely unhinged now, attacking everyone indiscriminately. Ha ha ha. Anyone who can piss off their parents like that deserves respect. Honestly, his parents had it coming. They never raised him but expect him to shoulder everything. The male lead has finally grown a backbone, but can he even be tortured anymore like this? I looked coldly at this ridiculous pair, about to leave. When Willow arrived, she looked at me with disdain, her tone as arrogant as ever. I'm very busy. I'm only giving you 10 minutes. Because of you yesterday, Makoto didn't sleep well. Go to his ward later and kneel to apologize to him. Then she ordered me again. Sign this agreement. The lawyer behind her held out a document and explained. This is a voluntary organ donation agreement, along with a property transfer agreement. As long as you sign, you'll receive 10 million. Also, your parents' medical expenses will continue to be covered by President Liu. The moment the original host's parents heard that, they immediately urged me excitedly. Sign it. Hurry up and sign it. I took the document and glanced at it. If I breached the contract, I would have to pay 5 times the compensation. There was even an additional clause stating that if I agreed, Willow would not divorce me. Puffed. I laughed. Looks like yesterday's lesson wasn't enough for her. Willow frowned, displeased. What are you laughing at? Don't you just want money? I'm giving it to you. Aren't you always afraid I'll divorce you? I've included that too. She let out a disdainful snort. You should be grateful you're a match for Makoto. Otherwise, you'd never earn this kind of money in your lifetime. The bullet comments grew excited again. The female lead is so domineering. Any problem that can be solved with money isn't a problem, and our female lead has plenty of it. So that's it, the male lead was just playing hard to get all along. Right in front of Willow, I tore the contract into pieces and tossed the scraps onto her head. I'll sign your ass. Chapter 7. Willow's expression changed instantly. She raised her hand again, trying to slap me. I grabbed her arm and, without hesitation, threw her over my shoulder. A dull thud echoed. She landed on the ground in a mess, her carefully styled hair completely disheveled. Shock and fury filled her eyes as she glared at me. George. Everyone in the hospital room was stunned. I bent down and patted her face. Are you asking for it? I already said I'd hit you, and you still walked right into it. Should I call you considerate? The original host's mother finally snapped out of it, her face pale with fear as she screamed. George, have you lost your mind? Apologize to President Liu right now. The fact that she's willing to take your kidney is your blessing. What kind of garbage logic is that? I walked over and slapped her again. If it's such a blessing, do you want it? Her face turned red as she pointed at me. You've completely lost your mind. From now on, I don't have a son like you. My eyes lit up. There's a deal like that. I couldn't ask for anything better. His father wanted to curse me too, but when he met my fierce gaze, he backed down and shut his mouth. After Willow was helped up by her lawyer, she clutched her waist, her face dark as storm clouds. George, even if you kneel and beg me in the future, I will never forgive you. I sneered. And who do you think you are? Do I need your forgiveness? I turned toward the doctor at the door. Doctor, you heard that, right? They've cut ties with me. Don't come to me for medical bills anymore. I shook my wrist and smiled. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. The lawyer tried to stop me, but I raised my hand slightly. He immediately flinched and covered his face. Willow's face darkened as she said through gritted teeth, "Let him go. I want to see how he survives without me." I shrugged and walked away without hesitation. Behind me, the original host's parents shouted anxiously, but I ignored them completely. At the same time, the bullet comments exploded like fireworks. Oh my God. After refusing to donate his kidney, the male lead has become a slap and insult war god. Does this guy fear anyone at all? Can someone please control him? Author, come out and take responsibility. This is supposed to be a tragic romance. When I walked out of the hospital building, Anna was waiting by the Porsche. After getting into the car, I asked her, "Do you want to make more money?" In the original plot, she was deeply devoted to the original host. Forget money, even if it meant giving her life, she would have done it. Someone that devoted doesn't deserve to be let down. The female lead and the second female lead were rivals, and the Liu family and the Su family were also competitors. I decided to help her snatch some projects away from Willow, and, at the same time, make things difficult for her. Anna Su looked at me seriously and said, "As long as it's something you ask for, I'll do it." Now that's what I call being on point. Over the next period of time, based on my knowledge of the plot, using both soft and hard tactics, I helped Anna pry away several major clients from Willow. When I once again snatched a business partner from her, she showed up, with Makoto. The moment she saw me in Anna's office, her eyes turned sharp, her gaze shifting back and forth between me and Anna. The bullet comments were beyond excited. The female lead has been holding this in for so long, now it's finally going to explode. Fight, fight. The male lead has gone too far lately. How can he help the second female lead go against the female lead? But when the male lead sees Makoto by her side, he'll get jealous, right? Maybe he'll change his mind and go back to the female lead. Chapter 8. Anna looked at Willow and said with calm elegance, "President Liu, please have a seat. May I ask what brings you here?" Willow's anger was almost tangible. She said coldly, "Anna, stop pretending. You stole my husband, and now you're stealing my business partners. What exactly are you trying to do?" Anna put on an innocent expression. "President Liu, you've misunderstood. Cooperation is a two-way choice. If they didn't choose you, shouldn't you reflect on yourself? How can you blame me?" Willow's temper flared. "Don't think I don't know what tricks you used. Without George's help, could you have done this?" Anna glanced at me but said nothing, because that was indeed the truth. Ahem. Makoto coughed twice, and Willow immediately turned to him. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." He shook his head and looked at me. "George, I know you don't want to donate your kidney to me, so you had a conflict with Waiwi, but she's always treated you well. You're not even divorced yet. Being with someone else like this, isn't it inappropriate?" Willow added with a dark expression, "George, you've betrayed our marriage." I laughed mockingly. Only the emperor is allowed to set the fire, while the commoners can't even light a candle. The two of you act shady all day long. Aside from not sleeping together, what haven't you done? And now you have the nerve to accuse me. Willow, since you care so much about him, let's get a divorce. I'll step aside and make room for him, perfectly completing your lovely little couple. If you agree, we can go to the civil affairs office right now. The bullet comments exploded again. Holy crap, the male lead is serious. The female lead is so pitiful. The male lead is helping outsiders against her and now wants a divorce. Forget it. Just make Makoto the male lead instead. George can't be tortured at all. Willow's eyes burned like flames. Her lips pressed into a tight line, and even her hands hanging by her sides trembled slightly. "George, how dare you bring up divorce? Do you even know what you'll lose?" "I don't care," I shrugged, smiling brightly. "As long as I feel good, that's enough." That scheming pretentious coquette Makoto had a flash of smugness in his eyes. He put on a guilty expression and said, "George, you've misunderstood. Actually, Waiwi and I are." I let out a cold laugh and cut him off decisively. "Just stop talking the moment you open your mouth. I already know what kind of crap you're about to spew. You're going to say it's just a pure friendship between you two, right?" Makoto's face twisted instantly. His fists clenched, and the anger in his eyes almost burst out. "George, I was just trying to remind you out of goodwill," I sneered. "Aren't you dying soon anyway? What's the point of your reminder?" Willow's expression darkened. "George, that was too harsh. Apologize to Makoto immediately, or I will never forgive you." I truly couldn't understand her logic. I'm already divorcing her. Why would I care whether she forgives me? I curled my lips and said lightly, I've already been very polite. I haven't even said bitch and dog. May you two be together forever yet. The moment those words came out, both Willow and Makoto's faces turned completely black. They finally couldn't stay any longer and stormed off in anger. Before leaving, Willow threw out a threat. George, you think you can divorce me and be with her? Dream on. I raised my middle finger at her. Willow, you're pathetic. She keeps saying she doesn't love me and only has Makoto in her heart, yet she refuses to divorce me for his sake. Yeah, right. The bullet comments wailed in despair. How did the plot collapse like this? The female lead is getting tortured so badly, my heart aches for her. Didn't the male lead love her? How did he become this cold and ruthless? If the male lead doesn't care about the female lead anymore, the story can't continue. Sigh. At that moment, Anna walked over to me, following my gaze. She asked, George, does it hurt you to see this? I shook my head. Of course not. I was just thinking, if we don't divorce, and she dies without leaving a will, I could inherit all her assets. Chapter 9. A few days later, after I once again secured a massive client worth tens of billions, one that Willow had been competing for, she finally couldn't hold back and came to find me again. This time, she had lost her usual arrogance. Instead, she looked at me with a complicated expression. George, I didn't expect you to know the chairman of Dolphin Group. I replied impatiently. There are a lot of things you don't know. Back then, the original host had accidentally rescued the grandson of the Dolphin Group's chairman from human traffickers. That kind of favor was immeasurable. The reason Dolphin Group had been willing to cooperate with the Liu family in the first place was entirely because of the original host. And at that time, Willow had just taken over as CEO. Many people doubted her, and it was landing that major deal with Dolphin that allowed her to secure her position. The moment I transmigrated, she tried to force me to donate my kidney. Of course I wasn't going to make things easy for her. I firmly believe in one thing. If someone harms you, it's like they're stealing your luck. Taking revenge is just reclaiming what's yours. Only reciprocity brings balance. And I've always been someone who pays back every grudge. Willow stared at me, pressing aggressively. Why didn't you tell me before? I sneered. If I told you, would you have believed me? Of course she wouldn't have. She had always assumed the cooperation came from the connection between Makoto's father and the Dolphin Group chairman. The bullet comments started chattering again. You can't really blame the female lead. Makoto misled her. Male lead. Stop being stubborn. She came this time to reconcile with you. I don't even care about torturing the male lead anymore, just don't torture the female lead. Please. Regret flickered in Willow's eyes. She took a deep breath and reached out to grab my hand. George, stop being childish. Come home with me. I shook her hand off and said coldly, you've got some nerve. What makes you think I'd forgive a trashy woman who tried to take my kidney? Her face turned pale, unwilling to give up. Other than me, who would want to marry a poor nobody like you? See, she had never respected the original host. Even now, she only came to him because she had no other choice. I smiled. If I wanted to, I could have hundreds of candidates lined up. Her eyes reddened as she choked out, George, I suddenly realized. Before she could finish, 2 cars suddenly rushed in from the side. Several well-trained men got out, swiftly and roughly tying both me and Willow up before speeding away. A hood was placed over my head. I couldn't see anything, only feel the car racing forward. When I could see again, I was in a hospital. The air reeked of disinfectant. My hands were cuffed to a hospital bed. Footsteps approached, getting closer. I turned my head. It was Makoto. He was wearing a white coat and gloves. The bullet comments exploded. What's going on? In the original story, Makoto did kidnap the male lead, but he never personally showed up. Probably because the female lead recently found out he was faking his illness, he must hate the male lead now and wants revenge. Then why kidnap the female lead too? No idea. But he's always liked her. He probably won't hurt her. Makoto walked to the bedside, looking down at me with a smug smile. George, you've been quite proud of yourself lately, haven't you? But now you've fallen into my hands. His smile disappeared, replaced by something sinister. I only asked for 1 kidney, and you refused. Today, I'm taking both. Let's see what you do then. I was speechless. I think you've got issues. What kind of normal person goes around digging out other people's kidneys? A cold glint appeared in his eyes as he said through clenched teeth, it's you ruined things between me and Waiwi. Shouldn't I hate you? I was even more speechless. The one who opposed your marriage back then was her grandfather. The one who gave me money and forced me to marry into the family was him too. Why don't you hate him instead? Makoto's face turned livid, but he said nothing. I laughed mockingly. Because he's strong, and I'm weak. You only dare bully the weak. You're pathetic. His mouth twitched violently. He snapped. No matter what you say, you won't escape today. I'll make sure you die in agony right here. I said. Aren't you afraid the police will find you? He laughed. Ha, I've prepared everything. The car has fake plates. The police will never find this place. He pulled a syringe out of his pocket, flicked it with his finger, and looked at me with a dangerous glint in his eyes. Chapter 10. I recalled the original plot. Makoto had someone kidnap the original host, extorted a huge sum of money from Willow, and then released the original host unharmed, only to frame him as the mastermind behind it all. Back then, after being released, the original host called the police, but there was no evidence at all. As a result, the female lead grew even more disgusted with him, subjecting him to even harsher physical and emotional torment. Snapping back to the present, I suddenly laughed, loud and unrestrained. Makoto frowned in confusion. You're about to die, what are you laughing at? I'm laughing at how early you're celebrating, and how well you've played yourself. The moment I finished speaking, the door was kicked open. Several people rushed in, pinned Makoto to the ground, and took the keys from him to unlock my restraints. I stretched lazily, then strode over and stepped on his head. You think I wouldn't be prepared? I knew you'd try to kidnap me. I just went along with it. When I joined forces with Anna to suppress Willow, I already knew. Even if I changed some parts of the plot, certain events were bound to happen, especially the ones meant to torture the original host. So I planted trackers in my phone, and even in my shoes, to make sure that if anything happened, my people could find me immediately. Of course, I usually have bodyguards with me 24/7. This time, when Willow came to meet me, I had them stay nearby. If anything went wrong, they were to act immediately. Everything was under my control. The bullet comments went completely insane. What? He actually knew. So he deliberately walked into the trap. Damn, the male lead is terrifying. What is he planning? The female lead is still in another room. Hurry and save her. You two can still get a happy ending. Yeah, even if the torture arc is gone, a good ending is fine. I'm so excited. Hero saves the damsel moment incoming. Makoto looked panicked, disbelief written all over his face as he shouted. That's impossible. How could you have known? I didn't answer him. Instead, I looked at him with amusement. You kidnapped Willow too, didn't you? What a pity, she's going to die because of you. His pupils shrank sharply. I never wanted to hurt her. Don't slander me. I shook my head with a smile. No, you're exactly the reason she'll die. Seeing the smile on my face, he trembled violently, his face turning pale. Why you? What are you going to do to Waiwi? She loves you so much, don't hurt her. I lifted my foot from his head and looked at him as if he were already dead. You should worry about yourself first. All the color drained from his face. I said thoughtfully, you remind me of an ancient profession. I think I'll let you experience it. As he was dragged away, his eyes were bloodshot, and he begged desperately for mercy. Moments later, his screams echoed like a pig being slaughtered. He had become a eunuch. The bullet comments went silent for a second, then exploded. Holy shit. The male lead is ruthless. R.I.P. Makoto. Who would have thought his ending would be this tragic? What did the male lead mean earlier? Is he not going to save the female lead? This is terrifying when you think about it. I can't even watch anymore. Male lead, please. You have to save her. She's your wife. Wife. I smiled. I had already prepared a nice container for her, planning to send her out to the open sea. With my hands in my pockets, I walked out of the abandoned hospital without looking back. Outside, Anna was waiting by the car. I was worried, so I followed you, she said cautiously, as if afraid I'd be upset. I smiled and gently patted her head. Would you mind changing your role? She blinked her bright, watery eyes, confused. What do you mean? But there was unmistakable anticipation in them. Be my girlfriend. Her beautiful face flushed instantly, and she nodded quickly. After getting into the car, she pressed her lips together, gathering courage before asking, can't I be your wife instead? I laughed. That works too. Anna beamed with happiness. As for Makoto and Willow, who knows, maybe someday they'll end up inside the belly of some fish. The culprit. Just like Makoto said, the police will never find out. The three greatest joys in life, promotion, wealth, and the death of your wife. My happy life is just beginning.